Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson, Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaws.
With Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout?
Like it's honest, but again, I want to see them fight. I want to see some aggression. Tank would have that if it was anyone he actually felt was worth it. I just don't know if he thinks Jake's worth it. Again, I get that feeling that he just is there.
Jake Paul has taken a big step in preparation for his upcoming clash with Gervonta Tank Davis by bringing in Shakur Stevenson for sparring sessions. According to Paul, Stevenson personally expressed interest in helping out, which gives extra credibility to the camp. Paul explained that his team has carefully selected a group of skilled southpaw fighters, most of them smaller than him but experienced enough to give the exact style and challenges he needs in training. What really surprised fans is Shakur's involvement, since there was no previous connection between him and Paul. Still, Paul is confident that working with Stevenson and other sparring partners will sharpen his skills and give him the right tools as he gets ready for the dangerous task of facing Tank Davis.
Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson, Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty south.
Some analysts are questioning the sudden link between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson, describing it as both unusual and unexpected. Critics argue that Stevenson may have taken on sparring duties in a way similar to Jaron Boots Ennis when he assisted Canelo Alvarez ahead of the Terence Crawford fight. What sets this apart is the absence of any prior relationship between Paul and Stevenson. In Ennis's case, there was already a family connection with Canelo, which made that arrangement easier to understand. But with Shakur, there are no shared ties or history with Paul. This has led some observers to believe that financial incentives may have played a major role in his decision to join Paul's camp. The speculation has sparked debate over whether Stevenson's involvement is purely a business move rather than a boxing-inspired collaboration, highlighting the unusual nature of this partnership between two fighters who have never been associated before.
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTuber, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly to make it happen?
Shakur Stevenson recently addressed questions about the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight. Offering his own perspective, he explained that if he were in Tank's position, he would look at it from two different angles. From the business side, the fight makes sense because of the money and global attention it brings. But as a fighter, Stevenson admitted he personally would not take such a matchup. His comments highlight the difference between treating boxing as a career opportunity versus viewing it as pure competition. While some critics see his sparring role with Jake Paul as controversial, Shakur has been upfront, admitting that financial factors do play a role in these decisions. In his view, modern boxing often walks a fine line between sporting credibility and entertainment value.
So can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
Okay.
it just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So, as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity,
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made.
During the official press conference, things heated up between Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis when the two fighters went face-to-face. The tension quickly escalated into a shove, which immediately set fans and media buzzing. Still, many analysts suggest the confrontation was more calculated than genuine, part of the entertainment strategy designed to generate viral clips and hype for the pay-per-view. In today's boxing world, these staged flare-ups are often used to blur the line between sport and spectacle. The storyline here is clear. Can the bigger, less experienced fighter impose his size and power, or will the smaller, more skilled boxer prove that technique and speed prevail? This kind of drama doesn't just fuel debates among hardcore fans, it also draws in casual viewers, making sure the fight becomes a must-watch event.
Orthodox matchup, left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you can even see Tank could get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. And Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes to that. Tank, man. Tank said, where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Kisa was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves. It's still going to hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is going to draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm going to watch, and there's going to be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral, and both these guys are going to make a shit ton.
Even with all the entertainment-driven buildup, boxing insiders stress that Gervonta "Tank" Davis isn't approaching this matchup as a gimmick. Analysts point to his focus in training and body language, noting that Tank looks locked in and determined. The stakes here go far beyond hype. Defeating Jake Paul could not only deliver a massive payday, but also boost Davis's mainstream profile. Experts caution that Paul cannot afford to treat Davis the way he might have treated older opponents, like Mike Tyson in promotional talks. Unlike retired or exhibition fighters, Tank is in his prime and feared for his aggression inside the ring. If Paul walks into this fight casually, the consequences could be disastrous. Davis knows what's on the line, both financially and reputationally, and his training camp shows he's preparing for a real battle. Not just a spectacle,
in this particular in the press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not gonna have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn.
Boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult has voiced a strong opinion on what a Gervonta Tank Davis victory would represent. He argues that if Tank defeats Jake Paul, the win would resonate far beyond the ring, turning Davis into a hero not only for hardcore boxing fans, but also for casual viewers. The reasoning is simple. Many people are eager to see Paul finally humbled, especially after his controversial rise from social media stardom to headlining boxing events. According to this perspective, Tank wouldn't just secure another win, he'd deliver the knockout that countless fans have been waiting to witness. Jake Paul's success has always been divisive. While he's brought in a younger audience, his presence has frustrated traditional boxing supporters. If Davis delivers that defining knockout, it could cement his role as the man who restored boxing pride against Paul's entertainment-driven journey. In this sense, the fight carries more than sporting weight. It's cultural, symbolizing the clash between boxing tradition and celebrity spectacle.
Tank Davis stops that. If he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
We're gonna have to help you up. Paul's gonna have to help you up.
We're gonna see about it.
Help you up.
We're gonna
because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him bandy legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it. He will be a boxing hero. It will go viral over and over. It's the same thing. No, not even the same. It's not even close. But there was a viral reaction when AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua can dispose of the MMA champion.
When AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou in the first round, it was like, now get out of here.
That's all for today's breakdown. Stay tuned for the next update. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the latest boxing news and fight analysis.